Hello, my fellow Americans, patriots, and even liberals. I'd like to come to you today to share with you the state of our union.
Attention, the following program is on a 20-second delay due to concerns of what might be said.
Cliff, you're guilty. I've known it all along.
Hey, Cliff speaks the truth. This guy's really a badass. He's exactly like me.
Cliff is awesome.
This is a warning to all snowflakes. This show will trigger you more than a MAGA hat at a Thanksgiving dinner.
This is a MAGA party now.
He's been kicked off social media because of his honesty. He's triggered more people than Billy the Kid. He's been shadow banned because of opinions. He's been threatened and assaulted because he loves America. Never bashful to share his opinions, regardless who he offends.
Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
Welcome to Cliff's Edge with Cliff Gephardt
and Steve Coderre.
America first. America first.
Hey guys, Cliff Gephardt here. It is the Cliff's Edge with my boy Steve Coderre, and this is going to be a wild one, guys. This is going to be a good one. We have Susan Rosener. Susan Rosener. Does anybody know who
that story is?
Susan Rosener is the lady, the beautiful woman, the pretty lady that was at a Cardinals game.
Not allowed to say that.
An Arizona Cardinals game, and she went in, and the terrible usher, ticket taker, gatekeeper made her take off her MAGA hat. So she doesn't know it yet, but we're going to tell her, we're going to give her this wonderful MAGA hat signed by General Flint. She doesn't know it yet. But Steve, before we get into all that, I want to rewind to what I said last week. And I'm not right all the time, but I am right most of the time. So okay. I want to say what I'm good at, because I'm good at what I do for a living.
Yes, very much so.
And I predicted, because we talked about rates, because the rates were coming out this week, and we talked about them last week. The rates were coming out. And everybody said, oh, well, when the rates drop, mortgage rates are going to drop. And I said, no. Burn time out on that. The prime rate is affected by the Fed funds rate. That affects credit cards, car loans, things like that. But mortgage rates are tied to T-bills, treasury bills, 10-year notes, and things like that.
Real quick, did you see, though, that Trump just came out a couple days ago, and he was like, hey, we're going to cap credit card rates to 10% to let everybody get caught up when he's elected. I'm like, that's a great idea.
But I don't think he should do that.
Just cap them for a minute. He's not going to make them. He's not going to do price fixing. He's just like, we're going to cap them for a minute, give everybody a break, and then we're going to move on from there.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. But that because it's your debt. You knew what it was when you went in. You knew what it was.
20 and 30% to buy groceries. You're wrong.
But you should be buying your groceries on your credit. Well, that's my opinion. I think borrowers. We could cap everything. We could say student loan. I think the market.
Trying to give people some breathing room.
But I get it. But I think there's better ways.
30% rates. That's usury, dude. That's usury.
I'm not.
Remember that term?
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, if we do that, we're sliding down a slippery slope, no different than the government giving out money or capping. I'm telling you. But that's what it is. That's what capping 10% is. Wah, wah, wah. Don't cap it. Let people buyer beware, and if you have to bankrupt yourself and charge it off, well, then that happens. If you can't pay it, charge it off. Let your credit determine what's going to happen with you. I don't believe they should cap it. But I will tell you that everybody said, oh, the rates are going to go down and people are going to be able to buy more houses. Nope. When the market has responded this week, the day after they lowered the rates, the market went up 500 points. It's up 600 points after the first 2 days.
Explain what that means. Listen, you're a big brain market guy. Ooh.
Okay.
Nobody knows what the hell you said.
So the Dow Jones, the market that everybody always looks at, the Dow. So it is up 600 points after the Fed lowered the rate, because the Dow Jones realizes that, all those corporations that have corporate lines of credit and stuff like that, they will get a little bit of a bump and it will improve their profits. So the stock market has gone up. Well, when the stock market goes up, bond rates have to chase them to encourage people to leave the stock market and go in the bonds, or to stay in the bonds and don't chase it up. So what we saw on the mortgage rates is they did go up. Now that
because the bond rate does what to the mortgage rates?
The mortgage rates that follow the bond rates will chase the stock market. If the stock market starts crashing, you'll see lower interest rates on, like T-bills. And that means they will go down.
And a T-bill is a treasury.
Treasury bill, it's typically 10-year treasury now. So anyways, now this isn't like going to always stay like that, but in the short term, rates did go up. I just want to say I was right. So if you want some more advice or opinions about real estate, whether you're going to buy, whether you should finance, call Steve and I, the MAGA Realtors.
MAGARealty.com.
Now, Steve, you and I
are amazing.
I said
handsome,
that actually Kamala Harris has not had as many credible news agencies interview her unscripted than Trump has had assassination attempts. Yeah. Trump has had 2 assassination attempts where Kamala has not had one credible news interview that wasn't scripted.
Listen, I think he's had 3 assassination attempts, because when they stormed Mar-a-Lago with the FBI, they had a kill order in that.
But she wasn't, she wasn't running for president.
Correct.
I'm saying in the short run, she's running for president. She can't even have an interview, but Trump can have assassination attempts. Well, the first shooter, Steve, the one that actually got off a few rounds, right? He used an AR-15 style rifle. AR stands for armor light, doesn't stand for assault rifle. So I want to show people, if you don't know, if you're not gun guy, I'm not gun guy. But if you're not gun guy, so
if you're not gun guy, I can't wait to meet gun guy.
Here is an AR style rifle right here, Steve. So this is an AR style rifle, and this AR style rifle, and this is my rifle. This is actually a short barrel rifle with a collapsible buttstock and a little green dot. It shoots this bullet. It shoots this one. It's a 223. Yeah, it shoots this
5.56.
This will shoot a 223 or 5.56. There's the NATO round.
And what's the 223?
I don't know. I think it's the amount of grain. I don't know. I'm not gun guy. Right. I'm just telling you, just basic stuff. It shoots this round. Now, that was what the first shooter had. This new shooter, here, let's take a look at his picture, Steve. He looks like a real fucking winner.
At least he's got all his American stuff on.
Yeah. So there he is. So now he brought a different gun to the party. He brought a gun that people always say it, but it's usually not it, because it's not a classical American gun. No. It's something different. It's something they carry around the desert. So let me show you this one. This is mine also. This is my AK-47.
Das Vidanya.
Yeah. So check out that. See, that's got a 50-round magazine.
Looks like somebody's trying to compensate for something with that mag.
This magazine is what makes the liberals go absolutely lose their mind with 50 rounds. Because they're all like, you need 30 rounds? No, I don't need 30 rounds. I need 50. Yeah. So this is an AK-47 style rifle. Now I want to show you the difference. This is what the guy poked through the fence, I guess, and in the bushes. I don't know how you see that. But hey.
Listen, we're going to go into that, but I think it was the entire thing is a setup.
It is.
Because there's no way, I don't care how trained you are, that you're going to see that sticking through the bushes.
Yeah. So, Steve, I want to show you this other picture. So, we're going to go to this picture. No, hold on. I was going to show you this last bit. So, here is the
AK round.
No, this is the AR round.
That's a
the 223 5.56. This is an AK round. See the difference?
Wow.
It's significantly different. It's significantly wider. Yeah. It's a bigger round, guys. So if you're not a gun guy or you're not an expert, you can see the difference in the AK round and the AR round. So the first time Trump was shot at by the gold one, the second time the guy was going to shoot at Trump with the silver one. That's the difference. But you don't see people like most people don't have AK-47s. It's just a different platform that's not. But I've heard a lot of soldiers say, "Hey, it's a very reliable
Yeah,
platform."
suppose they can take it out of the mud after 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
It just goes.
yeah, because they're all on the sand over there with all those the Taliban and the Palestinians and all of them. That's their gun of choice. Where most soldiers use something along the lines of an AR platform, M4, whatever like that. But Steve, I want to show you this picture. This was me at Mar-a-Lago. When I went to Mar-a-Lago, there's a mound that has a big flag on it. Now, a long time ago, I understand that the city of West Palm Beach or Palm Beach or whatever it is said Trump was not allowed to have a 50-foot flagpole. They just weren't for that. He could only have a 30-foot flagpole. So Trump being Trump, he decided, okay, I'll have a 30-foot flagpole. Why don't I just build up a 20-foot mound that I'll put my 30-foot flagpole on? So I was at an event there, and I thought to myself, I want to get a picture in front of that flag. So I'm walking across the lawn, and that's near Trump's residence.
A nicely manicured
Yeah,
lawn.
Trump's and near his residence, and all of a sudden I hear "halt," and I'm like, I immediately stop my tracks, and they're like, "Please walk backwards." And I start walking. And I'm just holding my phone. I didn't have any weapons. Was going to take a picture. And I'm like, I was just going to go take a picture by the flag. And they're like, just keep walking backwards. So the Secret Service stopped me from walking close to the Trump residence. I want to show you this picture that I took of myself. And then when I zoomed in, what you see. Because we're talking about the guy in the bushes. Check this out, Steve.
That's crazy.
You see that guy there, Steve?
Yeah,
that's the guy that's in the bushes.
Crazy.
He's actually in the bushes. But there was another guy behind me that probably radioed to this guy. So I don't know how they saw the guy in the bushes. Now that guy saw me out in the open. He was in the bushes. This is kind of like a reverse
So
of
look,
that.
and if you look at that guy's head in the bushes, you can barely see his head.
I know.
If you're just looking at that picture, you don't see his head.
No.
Now you're trying to tell me that they were able to see a little barrel sticking out of a bush. Now,
Yeah.
maybe they were using the heat sensing stuff or something like that. But come on, man. There's no way that we've had 2 assassinations in the last couple of months, or attempts in the last couple of months, and there's not some inside information at play.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's organized. It has to be organized.
It has to be organized. It has to be organized.
Now, who's doing it? The Iranians, the deep state, Hillary Clinton? Who knows?
You know what surprises me? Like, I know that if I laid this gun here, okay, and I left this building, if they didn't even know whose building this was, the authorities would figure out who was sitting here with this gun.
Correct.
Did this guy really think he was getting away with any of this stuff?
Well, I love that Governor DeSantis of the great state of Florida has taken over the investigation, and they're going to run it through the state and try to get him on attempted murder charges. Because if he went to Washington, we would never hear about this guy.
Yeah.
Never. He'd be gone.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein, we'd never hear from him again.
So Trump has had, and you know, I saw Trump talk on an interview, and he said that the presidency is one of the most dangerous jobs in the country.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, like, some jobs, like 1% of the people die. But did you know 6% of the presidents have been murdered or assassinated?
Oh, wow. Think about it. That's
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Huge.
He's like,
That's
yeah,
huge.
6%. I
That's
never
huge.
thought about it because there's only been 46 of
Yeah,
them.
not to be 47, but still 46.
Yeah. But you know how many have been killed?
Huge. Lincoln, Kennedy.
Yeah,
I don't remember the rest. That part I don't know. I know a lot of things, but I don't know that.
yeah.
Lincoln, Kennedy, but you know, Gerald Ford they made 2 attempts on
But-
Gerald Ford's life. They shot Big Ronnie.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So I never thought about that. He's got a really dangerous job because you don't think that. You think it's just
forget the
this.
assassinations. Look at all the ones that have been shot.
Yeah, you think about this posh lifestyle, and you know, but it's crazy. I think the guy was kind of psycho. I think the guy was, but he seemed like. I don't know. I haven't done all the research on it.
He was over in the Ukraine recruiting freedom fighters for the Ukraine.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere.
But did you
man.
see his house? House looked like a mess. Where does he get all that money for all that?
Where's he get all the money to go do that?
I don't know.
I mean, I know these trips cost a lot, right?
Yeah, and if you don't think it's kind of crazy, why would he have an AK style gun? It just seems so weird. I don't know of anybody who's not gun guy that has an AK style gun.
Yeah, right.
You know? I mean, I have two of them. I have two of them just because
don't you think it's weird that all of these assassins, since we've been alive, well, you weren't alive when Kenny was assassinated, I was barely born, but they can tie them back somehow through our government and through our CIA. They can tie them all back through all of that.
Yeah.
That's not coincidence, man.
No.
Can people see me when I'm touching the wall?
They can see you. No.
It just look like
it just looked like yeah. You just
Why is he doing that?
Yeah, you can't see that. Yeah, it just
Pet
looks.
the furry wall. Pet
Yeah.
the furry wall.
Yeah.
Pet the furry
So,
wall.
in closing about that, guys, I just think it's nuts. It's nuts that the president is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Never thought about it like that.
How much time do we have?
I don't know. We have a few seconds, but I want to talk to you.
How big are the dude's balls? Go.
What?
His balls.
Whose?
Then he just keeps going out there.
Oh, I know.
He's
Yeah.
like, fucking shoot. I don't care.
Yeah, it's insane. But here's what I found on Amazon. Did you know you can Google, you can buy Trump has been at the Haitians talking about eating cats and dogs, and there's dogs and cats, and the Haitians are eating them. But did you see that you can actually buy a voodoo doll of Trump online?
No, really?
Yeah, you can.
For the Haitians?
Yeah, here's a picture of the voodoo doll. So, I'm just going to tell you, Steve, you might want to be careful with these Haitians. With all that voodoo stuff, I don't believe in it, but I'm just saying it's interesting that, the voodoo doll, the Haitians, you never know what kind of witchcraft and evilness and all that stuff will be around, But hey, guys, when we come back, we're going to have Susan Rosener.
Yes.
And she's going to tell you what happened inside the stadium, how it went down. And here's one thing that I do know. The Cardinals say, it was one person, one rogue employee. That's not true. Wait till you hear the story, guys. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Follow the sponsors. Follow us on X, Facebook, Twitter. Go to our Spotify. Find us all over the place. We'll be back in 3 minutes, guys.
I'm General Mike Flynn. Patriotism in America is under attack. America is the greatest country in history. Every home in America should proudly display their pride. Every home in America should fly Old Glory. And that is why at MAGA Realty, we give every home buyer a 25-foot flagpole and an American flag. Contact us today at MAGA Realty, where we will fight as hard for you as we do for America. Go to MAGARealty.com, MAGARealty.com.
Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Civil rights were fought for by Republicans.
Democrats has done nothing for us but kept us poor.
The Republicans have had our back throughout history.
We should no longer be enslaved to the Democratic Party.
If you want opportunity, prosperity, and possibilities, you need to vote for Donald Trump.
I'm voting for Donald Trump for a real chance at opportunity.
The American Conservative Values ETF, ticker ACVF, is an investment alternative for politically conservative investors whose priority is shareholder returns. ACVF refuses to invest in the companies most at risk to the woke liberal agenda and its wasteful misallocation of investors' capital. Carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. Visit acvfetfs.com for a prospectus. The American Conservative Values ETF, ACVF. Align your investing with your conservative values.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to talk about a limited time offer of subscriptions to Patriot.tv and how you can become a member of our Patriot Defenders subscription club and become a member of Patriot.tv. Really, it's America's network. I call it the home of truth. And you can do that for only $9.99 a month. It's a great deal by itself, but what I'm gonna walk you through here in these next few seconds is a couple of package deals that we have that are unbelievable. The next membership was the annual membership at $99 that you can save. Right away, you save $20 if you come in at the annual subscription rate. The best deal that I think that people ought to seriously consider is the 2-year membership at $159. And it includes a special edition of my recently released documentary, Flynn, Deliver the Truth, Whatever the Cost. So along with the 2-year membership, the 2-year subscription will send you a DVD combo of the film, plus an option to stream the movie online, as well as exclusive interviews of Tucker Carlson, Devin Nunes, and myself. So go to the home of truth, right? Go to Patriot.tv today, sign up, seriously consider the 2-year subscription rate. It's an unbelievable savings. I think it's a total savings of about $70 from just signing up on a monthly or a annual basis. So thank you very much for your support. Patriot.tv is America's new network. Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging in there with us for this whole, 3 minutes of paying the bills here on the Cliff's Edge. Now, a lot of people have tried to get this interview, and a few have been able to do it. But for some reason, I sent this vague Facebook message out into the universe, thinking nobody would ever actually respond to this. And amazingly, this wonderful woman that loves America and was standing up. What?
Can you say woman? Did you ask?
Oh.
No, I didn't ask yet, but we'll ask.
You think you should ask her?
We'll ask her when she comes on, Steve. Okay.
Okay.
So so we've got this wonderful woman, Susan Rosener. Susan, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much. I appreciate being on with you, Cliff and Steve.
Now, the only thing I'm upset about is you're not wearing a MAGA hat on our show.
There's a reason, because I don't have it anymore.
Well, we're going to give you a MAGA hat. We're going to give you a MAGA hat that's signed by General Michael Flynn.
That would be amazing. Amazing.
So we're going to get you one of those. And I know my buddy, I'm going to call him after this, Dion Cini of Trump Swag, and I'm going to see if he can get you some hats too. But
oh my gosh,
Susan,
that
tell
would
us,
be great.
kind of walk us through. You walked through the gate or whatever. Did you get in? And then what happened?
The Cardinals have 2 security checkpoints.
Oh, hold on. So in case nobody knows your story, you were a hardcore football fan, and you were going to the St. Louis Cardinals football game.
Here's the deal. You didn't have to say hardcore, because if she's rooting for the Cardinals, bro, that's as hardcore as it gets.
Yeah, exactly.
30-year tickets, right?
34 to be exact.
34. Wow.
I know. My husband jokes that he has no hair because of the Cardinals, or it's because of me, depending on the day.
I'm sure it's the Cardinals.
So you got your 34 years. You've never had a problem before until you mag it up. Now, have you ever worn the MAGA hat there before?
No, this is the first home game of the season, and I have gotten to the point, I think like a lot of supporters, that I'm going to show my support. I don't care about the haters, what have you. The hat I had on was very tasteful, black and white MAGA hat, nothing inflammatory at all. And
it wasn't the red triggering hat, the one.
No, I know. So I thought, let's just keep it classy. Had that my Cardinal shirt on, and went through the first checkpoint, and I hear behind me somebody scream like, "You can't have that hat on!" And I thought it was a joke, and I just kept walking to the second checkpoint. And all of a sudden, this woman is standing toe to toe with me, in my face, yelling, like literally yelling, and saying, "You can't have that hat on! Didn't you hear me?" And I was like stunned. I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" And so we just, there was some back and forth. It really was very embarrassing. And it was, because I don't know how she felt how she felt she was going to accomplish anything by yelling at me about this instead of trying to explain. So I was finally like, "Why can I not wear that?" And she said, "No political merchandise." And I said, "Well, I hadn't heard that." And she's like, "You need to take it off." And I said, "I'm not sure I want to do that." And she pointed to the exit and said, "Leave." And my husband's like, whoa, wait, we thought you were kidding. And she's like, "Leave." And by the way, this was one woman that was standing in my face, but there's a whole gate full of security personnel around. So
were they all saying the same thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And not doing anything, just letting this all happen. So one thing that I wanted to say too about that is the Cardinals have said, "Oh, it was one individual." Well, it really wasn't just one individual. So, nice try. Anyway, we were able to convince her to let me go if I threw the hat in the trash, and that's what I did.
Wow.
In retrospect, because I do all kinds of stuff, and I've stood up for myself, and in retrospect, do you think I read your story that I should have said no and not thrown the hat away?
Yes, absolutely. The whole thing happened so quickly, and I was caught off so guard. I just didn't know what to think. And, I thought, am I going to jeopardize her season tickets? Am I going to go to jail? Like, I honestly didn't know what was going to happen. So I just thought, okay, I don't want to make any more of a scene of this than it is. So that's why I walked away.
Have the Cardinals offered you anything in like reimbursement or kind of hey, we're sorry, they did this wrong? Here's we're gonna move you to skybox, or we're gonna put you on the 50-yard line.
Throw the coin toss, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't
it?
Yeah. Actually, I talked with the woman. She's a manager for the security company that, handles the security personnel on behalf of the Cardinals. And she apologized. And then the Cardinals had a young woman from the season tickets department call me to apologize. And frankly, I felt like they made this poor girl do their dirty work. And I actually felt sorry for her. I mean, we're 34-year season ticket holders, and that's the response we get.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Have you heard about the Supreme Court ruling where they talked about the kid that was in school wearing the MAGA hat and stuff like that?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess that there's an attorney somewhere in the Arizona jurisdiction that might be interested in collecting some money on that.
It's not really, that's not really what I'm looking for, or, to get this woman fired. That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is that the Cardinals make it right by addressing the issue instead of sending out a very vague statement, which they did. And they didn't even directly address whether or not political hats or t-shirts were okay. They just made it clear that signage wasn't okay. But I was told by the security woman that no, any family-friendly political merchandise was okay, such as my hat. So I feel like, to me, the biggest thing is that they're trying to skirt the issue, and I would really like them to take some responsibility and make it clear, especially since we've got 2 home games coming up this Sunday and next. And there seems to be a lot of people that are frustrated.
You were going to ask questions, Steve?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that everybody's frustrated, because you want to confuse the whole population, don't put out a policy that's a direct policy. But let me ask you this, because there's going to be people watching this show, watching other national shows that are like, oh, she's a paid operative, she's involved with the GOP, they put her up to this. And is that true?
Absolutely not. I am an everyday 60-year-old woman just trying to show my patriotism and support for Donald Trump. And that's
let me tell you something else that nobody's going to believe, that you're 60.
I was going to say the same thing.
Come on.
Thank you so much. It must be the camera.
60, whatever. Stop.
We age well in Arizona.
So you said it wasn't about the money.
Correct.
But I want to tell you something about that. Like, there's a lot of people that will play on Sunday that never see the field, that receive $100,000 just to be there, that sit on the sideline as the third string defensive back or the third string quarterback. So if they were to give you that amount of money that they're paying these scrubs that sit on the sideline, you could take half of that $100,000, take it to a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago, get to meet Trump, and then when you leave Mar-a-Lago, you can fly to the south of France for a few weeks. And I think that would help it go over a little easier. At least it would help me go over easier for me.
My husband might disagree with this, but I would take 100% of that money and donate it. So
nice.
Okay. Yeah. So have you any of your friends see you on the news and they're like, Susan?
Yes.
And
yes.
Any of them that didn't know you were MAGA?
I don't think so, even though I haven't made it, super known.
Well, you did make known that you were supporting Ben Carson.
Yes, I did. You're right.
Because I found that on your Facebook page. So
that was early on in the primaries.
So here's a picture of you supporting Ben Carson. So, there's that, hey, everybody started liking somebody else and it just kind of funneled down to Trump,
Absolutely.
But Steve and I went to Trump's first rally ever.
Oh, no kidding.
Ever.
Yes, it was wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was wild. Hey, let me ask you a question about
Yes.
it wasn't a violent encounter, but it was certainly a threatening encounter that you
Correct.
had with her, this individual, and then the gang mentality behind her. And everybody talks about the conservatives and the MAGA crowd being unaccepting and
Correct.
and violent and the reality is it's so far from the truth. Have you
Correct.
ever seen anybody in a Walls hair shirt or some type of Antifa clown costume and thought, I'm gonna go fight them. I'm gonna go argue with them. I'm gonna get in their face.
Absolutely not. I mean, I might in private roll my eyes, but that's as far as it would go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that violence and that hate is never coming from our side. The stories being told through the lamestream media that we're the ones, but they are totally the party of hate and violence, and it's ridiculous.
And unacceptableness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and you're right. That's a perfect example. I'm just trying to go and enjoy a game, and that's
exactly
like I said, part of the reason I just walked away. Because
did you take the hat when you're like in people's faces? You suck, MAGA, MAGA.
No, I did kind of slam it in the trash, I think.
Good job.
But...
Yeah, I saw the story, and I've been in some very threatening environments. You should have seen us at the RNC.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
that was very, very threatening. There was a time 4 years ago when this whole encampment was at the ICE office over in Tampa. Okay. And I went over by myself at like 7 a.m, blew my horn and told them all to wake the F up. Protesting happens 24/7. Those migrants, they don't get to rest. You need to wake up and start protesting. And I was surrounded by like 40 people banging pots and pans. And I was live on Facebook, and people were like, be careful, be careful. I'm like, I'm not going to do anything.
Hey, let me ask something else too, because
you're a little bit more brave than I am, obviously, Cliff.
Great segue too into this next question, Susan. Cliff is Cliff, right? And he's just something about, he doesn't mind getting out there and being the tip of the spear. But most people are going to be like you. They're like, hey, I want to promote the cause, support the cause, but I don't want nonsense like this.
Correct.
What would you say to another woman or man or any person who wants to fly the colors?
I think that stand your ground. And obviously it depends on the situation, but I think especially after this episode, it's more important than ever to just stand your ground.
What are the gun laws in Arizona?
Open carry. Open carry. Yeah, right.
So do you carry?
No, we do not. That doesn't mean we are anti-gun whatsoever.
Yeah. It's a very bizarre world we live in. It's very, it's unbelievable. My wife is not a huge MAGA supporter, but she would never vote for the other side.
Correct.
And she's always like, are you going to wear that offensive thing when you're out with me? And I'm like, well, I'm only supporting the president. My hat doesn't say, Cliff for pedophiles, or anything like that. It's, it's just shocking that we've come this far. And I don't think the toothpaste will ever go back in the tube.
It really is. I mean, like I said, that's why I've gotten to that point that I'm going to do what I can. And, as a matter of fact, I have already volunteered to help, chase voters or chase ballots here in Arizona, because I can't just stand by and complain about what's going on without actually helping a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on. I'm sure you've got a slew of news agencies that are going to be calling you and contacting you. And, because you're one of those people that if that would have happened in a grocery store, nobody would have cared. If it would have happened somewhere that wasn't a venue that held 70,000 people and would have been a national football team, we would have never been here. And that's happening every day. People are being thrown out of restaurants. People are being thrown out of stores. I was thrown out of a store on Michigan's Miracle Mile or whatever it is,
Magnificent Mile.
Magnificent Mile. I was thrown out of a store 2 Christmases ago because I had a MAGA hat on.
Isn't that
Thrown out of
crazy?
that store because you're Cliff.
Yeah, that might be it,
Maybe
But-
the way you were dressed. I don't know.
I had a MAGA hat on, and they're like, "Oh
Well,
yeah, you know."
I just
so-
meant like barefoot. I don't have.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It was winter, so I sure I wasn't barefoot. I'm from Florida, so But I just want to thank you for coming on, taking time out of your
Thanks
day.
so much.
And,
I appreciate it.
We're gonna connect offline. You're gonna send me your address, and then we're
I
gonna
will.
send you the General Flynn signed hat.
Oh, love
And,
it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I would greatly thank you for coming on. And we'd like to have you on again to see, will you come on next week and let us know if you wore a MAGA hat back to the Arizona game?
Oh, I'm wearing a MAGA hat for
Okay,
sure.
So will you come on
And
next week
a
tell us?
MAGA t-shirt.
All right. And you'll come back on next week and tell us what happened?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will keep in touch.
All right. Thank you. Greatly appreciate you, Susan. We will see you in next week. And we're going to go to Dion. All right, guys, we just heard from Susan and how awful she was treated at Phoenix Cardinals, compound. Their, I guess, communist football team was there, and they had the Gestapo that was making her take off and throw away her MAGA hat. And we all know that was wrong. Even the Arizona Cardinals have said, hey, we apologize. That was an independent contractor. It wasn't anybody that was revolved around anything we were doing. But needless to say, it was wrong. She was done wrong. But that's how a lot of, the media, the entertainment industry, the sports industry treats those on the side of MAGA. And with us now is our correspondent in the Big Apple, Dion. Dion will tell us because nobody has been treated worse in sports than Dion. Dion, how you doing today?
I am doing excellent, and I'm glad to be here again today. But unfortunately, the subject really strikes home more than anything.
Yeah. So obviously we all have feelings about it one way or the other. The people on the left say, throw the bitch out with the MAGA hat. And we all say it's freedom of speech. It's freedom of expression. I always tell people how can you be against me just supporting the president? But there are a lot of factors that go into this. You and I will go into the belly of the beast and we'll do things that, some people won't do, you're probably, if the scale is 1 to 10, you're like a 10 plus 5 on the MAGA scale. You're off the charts. I might be about a 9 or maybe about an 8.5. Not really sure where I fall. Now this woman, she's, she's not super young. She's not old, but she's somewhere in the middle. Very attractive woman. And here she is. She's representing. We always say people should wear MAGA hats everywhere. So, everybody should do some, but some people can't do what you do and some people can't do what I do. So what are your thoughts on it? What do you think about the sports team's perspective and her perspective? Because we know that they made her throw the MAGA hat away, which is crazy.
Right. And, Cliff, I deal with this. If you add it all up, probably on a daily basis, once per day in the last 7 years, somebody saying something about my MAGA hat where I don't belong. Whether or not I should be thrown out is a different story, but it's happened a lot to me. The first thing they have to think about is, okay, it's a rogue employee. Now, rogue employees are probably, they're the Achilles heels to most businesses, other than Twitter, Facebook, and other woke companies. And that's the whole thing about woke companies that's going on today. Now, the NFL is one of the most woke companies out there today. And I cannot believe that people still spend a nickel going to these football games, not just because of the rainbows, not just because of this and that, but at the end field every year now, the last 2 or 3 years since George Floyd, they have end racism, stop this, do this. They're speaking to the fans in the stadium and saying that you're the most racist people in the football stadium, end racism. So I can see when there was a rogue employee. I've been into many incidents myself where the rogue employee was the reason why an incident happened with my MAGA hat. But in this particular case, the NFL is fully responsible for what happened. Okay. And I hope that when, she sees this message, that she actually goes and lawyers up. Their Supreme Court ruling says that, we are technically a protected class with our MAGA hats after some incident happened with a student in school. So, it's very disheartening what happened. Very, very disheartening. And I think it's all part of a process that's going to continue. Hopefully Trump wins, but if it doesn't, this process of taking off our MAGA hats is going to be permanent.
Yeah, but it gets back to the root of the issue. It's, there's so much hatred out there for this red hat that says MAGA on it, that says Trump, whatever. There's just so much hatred and disdain because what the media does, the media is so disingenuous. The mainstream media is so dishonest to the American public. It's just insane. But then you've got people that are acting on that. We talked about on the show earlier about, they're taking more shots at Trump. I heard that there was like some bomb making material in a truck at his rally up in New York. I mean, that's what we get. We get this kind of reaction. Throw your clothing away, throw your hat away. Don't wear that. We get that reaction because the media, for lack of better terms, it fucking sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
They're destroying America. They are destroying America. The Walter Cronkites, the people like that would have never done that back in, our day when we were watching the media. It just would have never happened. There was a little bit of bias, but there wasn't much at all.
Yeah, but even like Fox News, I was interviewed last night about this. They called me up. They couldn't wait to talk to get my point of view about it. But two of the responses that I gave them didn't show up because it doesn't fit their narrative. The first one is, and it's so simple, and I can't even believe it. Like you just said a minute ago, taking off the MAGA hat. You tell me to take off my MAGA hat, you might as, and I've said this over 100 times, or hundreds of times. You tell me to take off my MAGA hat, tell me to take off my underwear. Because there's absolutely no difference in you telling me to take off my underwear than taking off my hat. It's an article of clothing. It's more important to me than my underwear. Actually, I'm at the beach, so I'm actually, I'm not wearing underwear right now. So now that everybody knows that. But my MAGA hat is going to go on in the water with me today. So, that's the Fox News wouldn't even quote that I said, telling to take off the under. There's another one that's a little bit worse, which sort of follows what happens if Kamala wins. If Kamala wins, we're going to be ordered to take off our MAGA hats because they're not going to. They say this unity. No unity. This unity does not involve MAGA hats. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Kamala wins. There's going to be some kind of movement to remove our MAGA hats and remove MAGA from the vocabulary of the MAGA people. So yeah. I think this is a part of the process of what's going to be happening. And the worst thing is still yet to come with the MAGA movement.
Oh, it really is. But like you said, people are being asked to take off an article of clothing that it doesn't say, the hat doesn't say F Kamala. It doesn't say, let's destroy America. Let's kill Americans. It just says, make America great again, or Trump. How can that be bad? How can somebody perceive that as bad? And it's because of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. That's what it is. Dion, before I ask you the next and last question, I will let you know that if you go out in that beach in the water without your underwear on, with your MAGA hat, and you ruin your MAGA hat, I know where you can get one. You can go to trumpswag.com and there you could buy another MAGA hat. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, but you can also get it at conservativegrounds.com. One of my favorite resellers is selling the MAGA hats too, or you can pick it up at Conservative Grounds coffee shop. It really just about my MAGA hat either, Cliff. I push the MAGA hats because I'm so passionate about people wearing MAGA hats.
Sure, yeah.
Don't buy them from Trump, buy them from anybody. But of course, you can get them from trumpswag.com or conservativegrounds.com. But put it on and keep it on.
Yeah. I mean, I wear a version. I wear my MAGA realtor hat, which I think is, it's as close as I can get. Plus, it's a little, I guess.
It says MAGA. It's enough.
Yeah,
it says MAGA. It says MAGA.
Self-gratifying, MAGA hat, But anyways, we all know that the government is pushing an agenda that is not conservative. Every one of the alphabet organizations, every member of like the deep state is trying to destroy the MAGA movement. The media is trying to destroy the MAGA movement. The sports teams are trying to destroy the MAGA movement. Hollywood's trying to destroy the MAGA movement. And I just want to thank you for standing up and wearing that MAGA hat. And even though Susan didn't go as far as Dion would, or maybe even a Diane, a Fiona, any of those people, maybe she didn't go that far, but she at least wore it to 70,000 people to see it. And now she's created a spectacle with that, whether she threw it away or not, that it's getting a little bit more airplay. And maybe the soccer mom might just think, hey, maybe I should wear a MAGA hat, or here's somebody else wearing a MAGA hat. Because I think the value in wearing a MAGA hat is people see, oh, well, he's wearing one. Either it's okay for me to wear one, or I should be okay about what he's wearing. Do you get that?
Yes, I do. And it's also, like I said, I hope Susan lawyers up because now it's protected under the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
So, the value of the hat, whatever it was, $40 or whatever, doesn't really compare to the emotional distress.
Hey, will you send Susan a MAGA hat?
Absolutely. I'll send her a dozen. I'll send her a dozen of them.
All right. Okay.
As long as she promises to wear them every day. Absolutely. Tell her
All right,
will
Dion.
send her.
Hey, we'll have you back next week or the week after, whenever you want to be on. But I just wanted to make sure that you were involved when it had anything to do with the MAGA hat.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, Independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
And I instantly believed it. With Independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, Independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of Independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With Independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if Independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
I'm General Mike Flynn, and I have been protecting American soil since I was a young man. Today, the fight has never been greater. Patriotism extends to every facet of our lives here in America, including who we do business with. That is why I am proud to be part of MAGA Realty. MAGA Realty is the only true patriotic real estate company in America. If you want someone to fight for your home as much as I have fought for American soil, go to MAGA Realty today. God bless you and God bless America.
Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Civil rights were fought for by Republicans.
Democrats has done nothing for us but kept us poor.
The Republicans have had our back throughout history.
We should no longer be enslaved to the Democratic Party.
If you want opportunity, prosperity, and possibilities, you need to vote for Donald Trump.
I'm voting for Donald Trump for a real chance at opportunity.
Hey, welcome back to the Cliff's Edge. Sorry I had to step out. We got that big closing scheduled for tomorrow at magarealty.com. And so I needed to attend to that. But you didn't need me anyway because you had Clifford, the world famous opinionist, along with the world famous prognosticator.
No, provocateur.
I thought it was prognosticator.
No, he's a professional provocateur.
It's not a prognosticator?
No, he's a provocateur.
What's the difference?
He provokes people.
Oh, he makes people fucking insane.
Yeah.
So we had Dion.
We had Dion on talking about, Susan, who was on earlier.
Yeah, she's
and how
awesome.
Susan, is just this, she's just this soccer mom. She was wearing a MAGA hat, was going to an Arizona Cardinals game like she's done for 34 years.
Yeah.
And the Gestapo surrounded her because they just couldn't handle the MAGA. The whole company apparently has TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and they made her throw her MAGA hat in the dumpster. Not, hey, ma'am, could you just put that in your bag? That would be, just put it in your bag. No, you got to throw it in the dumpster. It's absolutely insane, guys. It's absolutely insane. Do I hear something? Steve, is that your pager going off? Shit, I'm getting out of here.
Boom!
Guys, did you see that? And then it was walkie-talkies. So I put up a post. It had thousands of things. And it's a skeleton with a turban.
Breaker 19, come in over.
It's a skeleton with a turban. And it said, and then my fucking pager went off.
Dude, that's not the skeleton. That's the dude. That's the, what's his name? The Akbar.
Yeah.
What's the puppet guy? The ventriloquist.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, but it's a skeleton.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that guy's funny,
but
man.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're blowing up pagers and
where does everybody carry their pager?
Right next to their kidneys.
Right next to their package.
Yeah.
No, right there in their pocket.
Yeah.
So that blew a bunch of junk off, man. I love it.
That's what I said on that one. I'm like, the guy's quote was that I made up is, yeah, I might get to heaven and get my 72 versions, but I got my dick blown off, So now what do I do? It's insane, but it's amazing.
It, man.
So
what is that? F-A-F-O? F-A-F-O, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. But did you expect that the government could tap into a pager and overheat it, I guess, and blow it up?
No clue. But you know what really torques me, right? Is everybody saying, oh, those poor innocents. They weren't innocents if they had the pagers, and they're like.
But it's the people around them. I think they're talking about.
Enough's enough.
No.
And the Iranians are like, you crossed the red line. I'm like, bitch, you crossed the red line when you came in on your fucking kites and parachutes and started killing a bunch of innocent people.
Exactly.
Allah Akbar.
So let me ask you a question. We talked earlier in this segment about guns and stuff. So when you come in with this is okay?
Correct. That's not crossing the red line. That's not crossing the red line.
But no pager.
No.
No pager. AK-47. 7.62 round, that's okay.
Yeah,
I can shoot you in the forehead.
But you're not allowed to blow somebody's balls off with a pager.
But no pager. Dude, it's insane. It really is.
I know. Hey, I know the network doesn't want us talking about this.
The 3090 Project?
3090 Project. But the reality is, that world wants to annihilate us.
They do.
They want to kill us
all.
They
want a 3090 us.
They want a 3090 us. So someone's got to win the 3090 battle.
Yeah.
And I would prefer it if our way of life, our Western world, our civilized Western world. All you got to do is look at the Western countries.
Just look at all countries.
Western countries that are all civilized. It's unbelievable. Now let's look at that side of the world and the way they live and the way they treat their women. And I want our lifestyle to prevail with the 3090 Project. Complete annihilation.
What? I mean, I'm being honest. What has, that part of the world contributed to the world in the last 100 years compared to the Western civilization? Now, I know they contributed some stuff back when everybody was in mud huts, But once you expand past the mud hut, what has that part of the world contributed?
Well, here's what some people are going to say, especially younger people. They're going to say, well, the Earl and all of that stuff. Well,
what?
The Earl. You know how
Earl.
they say? What? Yeah, Earl. You ever been to West Virginia? The Earl.
Oh, yeah.
The Earl that you put in your car.
They've done no advancements.
Well, no, they don't even contribute because who went over there and developed those nations?
The Western civilization.
The white guys.
Yeah.
And they went in. They said, "Look, here's drill. You put drilling ground, you get Earl." Right?
Yeah.
So you could say they did it. We just went over there and drilled all those wells, gave them all that technology, and took them from mud huts to now, the most wealthiest countries on the planet.
Yeah. But none of those people in the last 100 years have contributed
Nothing.
nearly. Where's their Silicon Valley? Where's their manufacturing plants? I mean, it's crazy. I did talk to a guy who was a communications guy in the Army in the pretty high level, and he told me back in the day that they used to track terrorists based on the RFID Bluetooth thing that is in the tires that lets you know that the tire is running flat. That thing, I guess, sends out a signal and has
makes
some
sense.
So they would figure out which ones that was, and they would track them like that. Could you imagine you're being tracked by the air pressure sensor in your tire, and now they're blowing people up? And I guess they can do it with phones too.
Now let me say, were the beepers, the pagers, did they have like a big lot of them and they put explosives in them?
I thought they overheated them and they made the batteries blow up or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But how did they get they give all pagers? You get a pager. Maybe Oprah was over there like, you get a pager and you get a pager and you get a pager.
Could you imagine being Oprah and having been relevant for so many decades and now nobody gives a rip who you are, what you got to say?
Just go live on your island.
Just go to Hawaii.
Who's that guy she lives with?
With you and Gail all scissored up.
Yeah.
And you got your, what do you call the cover? The dude that's the cover, the beard, and you got your beard Stedman.
Yeah,
And
Stedman.
you and Gail can be all, right?
Stedman, get me some punch.
Right.
Gail is thirsty
just
after the
Oprah
scissoring.
and Gail and all that lotion and just
Talk about lotion.
fat
Talk
hanging
about
off
lotion.
them.
P. Diddy had 1,000 bottles
Yeah.
of oil.
Yeah.
How many bottles of oil do you have in your house? Now, I know you're...
I mean, at this age, none, but, from the time I was 14 to 18, probably a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oil, 1,000 jars of oil?
Well, not 1,000, but, yeah. There were...
Dude, remember, my house, you couldn't even put 1,000 things of oil, maybe in my house. It would, take up half my house. How much, was he have, a whole oil garage?
Was it Johnson & Johnson or was it some other kind?
I know. It reminds me of that scene from Wedding, what was it, Old School, where they're in that tub and they're oil wrestling.
Blue, you're my boy, Blue. You're my boy, Blue.
Ring the damn bell.
Dude, in the 70s, every girl had 2 bottles of baby oil in their bags because they would go to the beach and just go...
Oh, I know.
Right?
Yeah,
and their skin would peel off.
Exactly. It'd be like the 3090 Project. Now, I know we live in Florida where it's pretty hot, but I certainly don't want the 3090 Project here on our shores.
No.
But it's coming to a shore near
Somewhere,
you soon.
right, yeah.
And the sooner it comes is if Kamala gets in office. We need to keep Kamala up.
Toe, baby.
We absolutely do. Hey, guys. We're going to be back next week. We've got some amazing stuff going on. I want to thank you for stopping into Cliff's Edge. We will see you next Saturday night and everywhere else on X, Facebook, everywhere else. See you later, guys, from Cliff's Edge.
I'm General Mike Flynn. Patriotism in America is under attack. America is the greatest country in history. Every home in America should proudly display their pride. Every home in America should fly Old Glory. And that is why at MAGA Realty, we give every home buyer a 25-foot flagpole and an American flag. Contact us today at MAGA Realty, where we will fight as hard for you as we do for America. Go to MAGARealty.com, MAGARealty.com.
Are you investing in the liberal agenda? Stop. Our belief is that we all either unwittingly or begrudgingly support the liberal agenda with our current investments. The American Conservative Values ETF seeks to boycott as many companies hostile to conservative values as possible without sacrificing performance. The American Conservative Values ETF, ACVF, align your investing with your conservative values. Carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses before investing.